Welcome to Awakening News, where we awaken you from being brainwashed by the beast. If you believe in any government or religious organization, then you are definitely brainwashed into a box or certain boxes of belief. What you're about to hear is the truth. But because it's outside of your box, you're not going to believe the truth. You're not even going to see it. But hopefully you do watch till the end of the video. It's going to be shocking. And that you actually go and research and find out for yourself on whether what I'm saying is the truth or not. But today's video is about racism does not exist. What does exist is love and fear. And if you believe in racism, then your life is about fear, death, and destruction, which is brought about by governmentism and religionism, which also does not exist. But what does exist is that the fundamental purposes of religious and political leaders is to lie, solicit your money, brainwash you, to control you. Government and political leaders are not there to do any good for you. They are there to brainwash you. Government leaders make you want to hate and fear other political parties and countries. And the same goes for religious leaders. They put the fear of hell in you, and they put the fear of other religions in you. They're not there to do any good for you. The beast has come up with all these isms. And ism means fear. So in governmentism, capitalism, communism, nationalism, Zionism, if you're in one of those groups, you will fear one or more of the other groups. And the same goes for religionism. Buddhism, Hinduism, Muslim, Catholicism. There's always a fear between them, and there's always fighting and killing. Catholicism is based on the New Testament and the Quran. And these believers are responsible for the fear, death, and destruction of hundreds of millions of people. And the same goes for capitalism and communism. So it's used as a weapon, a tool of fear, death, and destruction. Same as Black Lives Matter is now being used as a tool by communism to create fear, death, and destruction. Another reason why racism does not exist, because there is no definition for racism. Only people who are retards will define a human species by the color of their skin. And they take it even further and define someone by the color of their uniform. You don't get any more crazy than this.
Changing course amid the nation's unrest. The short list now reportedly includes Democratic Congresswoman Val Demings, a former police officer.
Activists pushing to defund police are furious. The New York chapter of Black Lives Matter telling the New York Post, quote, Joe Biden would be an idiot to put her on his ticket. People are already on the fence about him. When black people become police officers, they are no longer black. They are blue. And I have been told this by numerous officers.
Well, here to weigh in, Fox News contributor and former GOP Congressman Jason Chaffetz. Hey, Jason, good morning to you.
Good morning.
So, Val Demings, two-term Congresswoman, for 27 years went from a beat cop to the first female police chief in Orlando at a time that we're dealing with now. It seems like she'd be the perfect choice, a black female cop, police chief, no?
I served with her in the United States Congress. In fact, she was on the Oversight Committee while I was the chairman. I got to tell you, to rise from beat cop to become the chief of police of a significant police department is quite an accomplishment. But this is today's Democratic Party. The Democratic Party will tell you they're about diversity, but they're really not. They'll tell you that they're about tolerance, but they're not. And to simply exclude somebody based on their color of their uniform is a ridiculous notion. It is prejudice, it is racist, and I think it's wrong. But that is today's Democratic Party. They will say one thing, but their actions are something that is totally, totally different. And by the way, if you're going to put Val Deming in this position, then I would guess you would also put Kamala Harris, Senator Kamala Harris. When you're the Attorney General of the state of California, you're often referred to as the chief law enforcement official for that state. So they're going to take those two people off the table because they served in a law enforcement capacity. That's who today's Democratic Party is.
Yeah, it is, Jason. You know, this is the greater New York chapter Black Lives Matter leader saying this. You're not black anymore if you put on a uniform, you're blue. But
Elizabeth Warren was running to be the Democrat nominee for the President of the United States of America. And she's also got some crazy definitions of racism.
We need to call out white supremacy for what it is, domestic terrorism, and it poses a threat to the United States of America. We live in a country now where the president is advancing environmental racism, economic racism, criminal justice racism, healthcare racism.
Well, you can make up your own mind of Elizabeth Warren's definition of racism. But if racism is part of your vocabulary, then you definitely got the character of the beast. Now let's listen to someone that comes from the group that 99.9% of the time is complaining or making false allegation about racism.
Dr. King said, what good does it do to have the right to eat in a restaurant if you don't have the means to exercise it? But middle-income blacks use the demographics and the behavior of low-income blacks as the bait, and the switch came when the money arrived. And that's why the biggest problem in black America today isn't between whites and blacks, it's internal. And Elizabeth Warren and people who continue to emphasize the external enemy are preaching a false solution. Black America's destiny has never been determined by what white people do or do not do. But that's what we're left with. And so what I think that it deflects attention away from the real problems, and that is the people who are supposed to be serving those communities. Racism is not the most formidable problem. It's a problem. The real problem is the kind of betrayal by the leaders of these cities in the last 50 years. The urban communities where you have the highest crime, the most drug infested, have been run by liberal black Democrats for 50 years. And the question is, and we've spent $22 trillion in these places, and yet the problems are getting worse.
There you have it. And this is a fact. The group that has weaponized the color of somebody's skin to define who is good and who is evil is they themselves who are the most evil, who have caused the biggest problem amongst themselves and others. They've weaponized the word racism, white, black, any other word, Black Lives Matter, I can't breathe. They weaponize it. Why? Fear, death, and destruction. The children of the beast. That's what they're doing. Many years ago it was said, what will be seen as evil will be seen as good. What is seen as good will be seen as evil. If you want to put it into color, what is white will be seen as black. What is black is seen as white. If you want to define someone by a color, you could say his heart is white, his mind is white. He's got a white soul. It's got a black side. It's evil, good, righteous, unrighteous. You can use those words to define a character of a person. And scientists have defined human species as beast-like and as mighty one-like. And there's a difference. If you define a human species by the color of their skin, then the words spoken and written about 2,000 years ago is appropriate for you. You are of the serpent, dragon, devil, or reptilian as father, and the lusts of your father you desire to do. That one was a murderer from the beginning, and he has not stood in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaks a lie, he speaks from his own, because he is a liar, and the father of it. Every time when I hear someone defining another person by the color of their skin, the same thought comes to mind. I know who your father is. The character of the beast-like human species are defined as does not see the truth, most likely to have a low IQ, most likely to have low ethics and morals, most likely to be a criminal, most likely to be seeking the spirit of darkness. Any one of these definitions will confirm that you are the beast-like character. Amongst many other things, belonging to a government or religious organization will also confirm that you have the character of the beast. Scientifically, medically, historically, there is only two different groups of human species. And that is the beast-like or the mighty one-like type of human species. If you are brainwashed by governmentism, you would believe in evolutionism and believe that mankind has existed for millions of years. If you are brainwashed by religionism, you would believe that mankind has been around for thousands or tens of thousands of years. But the truth is, mankind's been around for approximately 500,000 years. Let's start with the Botswana tribe from Zimbabwe, who are also known as the ostrich people. As you can see, it's quite obvious that they are called ostrich people because their feet are very similar to the ostrich feet. There is also a smaller group of them in the Kalahari area of Botswana. And then we have the Waonani tribe from Ecuador. They have 6 fingers on each hand and 6 toes on each foot. And all over the world we find people that will have the odd 6th finger or toe. There are many questions to be answered about these two tribes. Mainly, why is the ostrich-like feet so isolated to a few people in a small area, yet the 6 toe and fingers can be found all over the world? What these two tribes prove is that humankind does not come from Adam and Eve, and nor did mankind evolve. It's impossible to prove that their DNA comes from the same parents over thousands or millions of years. And there are dozens or more tribes that proves the same thing. We'll come back to these two tribes. Let's go back 500,000 years. The evolutionist theory is not a fact, but a theory. If you believe that it is a fact, then you have the character of the beast. Their theory is that mankind evolved from primates. But their problem is the missing link. And that's a fact. There is no proof of an evolving from a beast-like type of human to a mighty one-like type of human. There are minimal differences between the beast-like humans and the primates. There were many types of beast-like human species, from the Homo erectus until the Homo neanderthal species. But there's only one type of Homo sapiens species, with a mighty one-like human species, compared to the many beast-like species. Scientists have determined that the two main criteria to determine the differences of the human species are IQ and behavior. Homo erectus means a primate that can walk on 2 feet and has an IQ of a primate, yet is considered to be a human. Homo sapiens means an intelligent human that does not behave like a primate. But the world has been brainwashed into believing that the two main criteria of a human are white and black skin. The original beast-like species died out because they could not reproduce and were replaced by many beast-like human species with a higher IQ, but not with an IQ and behavior on the level of a mighty one-like human species. Because primates, beast-like humans, mighty one-like humans exist with their own unique DNA, evolutionism and creationism does not exist. Which means that mankind must have been formed. Are we hybrids of the primates and those from the stars? The original beast-like humans surely came from the primates, but the mighty one-like humans don't display any characteristics of the primates. Will the Botswana and Waanani tribes give us the answer? The Botswana tribe say that they were formed by the ones from the stars. The ones from the stars are said to be hybrids that look like half human and half bird. If you're a New Testament believer and you don't believe me, believe your Bible. Jonah 3:7 describes the hybrids. Research the Nineveh bull. The statue illustrates the hybrids. Jonah went to Nineveh to tell the people to stop forming hybrids. And the same goes for the Waanani tribe. You'll find that the giants had 6 fingers on each hand and 6 toes on each foot. You'll also find out that the giants were formed at 36 feet and over time down to 12 feet. The downsizing of the giants was not through a natural process, but through a laboratory process. If you believe the religious lie of a natural process, then you must explain how a 36-foot giant produces babies with a 5-foot human. Your Bible says that it is possible, and that's a lie. Anyone considered to be over 6.5 feet tall is considered to be a giant. The DNA of the giants are still found in the people who are over 6.5 feet tall. Besides the fingers and toes, the Waanani tribe has also got the aggressive character of the giants. They also don't have similar illnesses that you find amongst Europeans, for example. And of course, the giants came from the stars. So if you go look at all these different, what is referred to as indigenous tribes, the original tribes, you'll find in the ancient civilization, they all talk about the ones from the stars. But through governmentalism and religionism, you've been brainwashed through evolutionism and creationism. Do not believe the truth. And you have to decide on whether you're actually going to look into this and break away from governmentalism and religionism. Because that's a very bad place to be. Because you're part of the beast then. If you're part of the government's, political parties, religious organization, you're believing in a lie. You're living a lie. And you're basing human race on color, which is causing fear, death, and destruction, division amongst the species. The division amongst the species is you're either beast-like or you're mighty one-like. That's the only division that there should be. But a few thousand, 2,000 years ago, someone said this. Is this guy the beast? Do you think that I came to give tranquility in the earth? No, I say to you, but rather division. For from now on, 5 in one house will have been divided, 3 against 2, and 2 against 3. Father will be divided against son, and son against father. Mother against daughter, and daughter against mother. Mother-in-law against the bride, and the bride against the mother-in-law. Okay, look at social media. There are young kids that are hating their parents because their parents don't support Black Lives Matter. There are divisions, huge division in families, relationships, communities, countries, based on racism. Racism is fear, death, and destruction created by the beast and propagated by the children of the beast. We need to look at the color black and white in the right context. Because in the beginning there was black. And black was fear, death, and destruction. And then came white, which is love, life, and shalom. When you looked at black, you would think of the devil, demons, or whoever is evil. If you looked at white, it's the angels, those that do good, would be considered to be white. But every human has got the potential to be black, to be evil. And that is a constant battle that each of us have. But even although someone might look black or white, either one of them could behave in a good or an evil way. And that is what we have within us. It's a constant battle to overcome the beast character that potentially lies within all of us. If you understand the Hebrew language, which was written over 3,000 years ago, it describes that you are chained up, you're entrapped if you don't contain the beast. Once you control the beast, only then you become free. But in governmentalism and religionism, you're not free. You are trapped to be part of the beast. And then that man, approximately 2,000 years ago, said something that you need to consider. Your eye is the lamp of your body. Therefore, when your eye is mighty one light, all your body will also be white. But if it should be beast-like, your body will also be black. Watch then, that the mighty one likeness in you is not beast-like. And if all your body is white and does not have any beast-like portion, it will be enlightened. All of it, as a lamp, by its flame, enlightens you. If you look around at the crime statistics and what's going on around the world, you will find that what was said over 2,000 years ago is 100% correct. Israel and many other ancient civilizations understand that there was 2 forming of mankind's species. The one that was referred to as mankind being formed on the sixth day, and not women, was a beast-like type of humankind. And the ones in the Garden of Eden, which some refer to as the eighth day of creation of mankind, when woman was first formed, is the second forming of mankind. You had the beast-like humans, and then the mighty one-like human. The people of Israel have got a thing that they do where they hold their fingernails to the light of a candle, so the light shines through their fingernails. And the reason why they do this, because they understand that the bodies of Adam and Eve were so white that light used to shine through it. And they do this in remembrance of the first Adam and Eve, and in the hope that one day light would also shine through their new bodies. You may have heard some of these things before, or you might have heard it now for the first time. But if your belief is based on racism, religionism, governmentalism, then you're part of the beast. You're the beast itself. And you have to get out of that. You have to be set free and not be part of politics and government and religious organization. And also the media and the entertainment world and things like that, which is brainwashing you to live a lie. So if you want to be awakened and set free, subscribe to my channel. There'll be many other videos, and I'll go into detail about things I've spoken about now and a lot of other things. And do yourself a favor. Don't go back to your religion or to your political party. You're just going to get deeper and deeper into the mindset of a beast. Until next time. Shalom. This information is not meant to harm or to incite harm against any human with a beast-like nature. If this information has in any way affected your psychological or emotional well-being in a negative way, then I strongly recommend that you seek professional psychological help ASAP. This information is not meant to harm any non-human species. We apologize to the animal kingdom for references to a human's beast-like nature that is similar to theirs. No human or animal was harmed or experimented on while making this video.